This is the Negro Ninja. And today, I want to just talk about the typical discussion, very generic discussion. Can a man and a woman be friends without having any motives? Okay, by now, this should be common MGTOW knowledge that this shit is not possible. But what inspired this is one of my buddies on Facebook, pretty much shared the meme. And, I'm sitting back, I said my piece, but I want to see what these hoes say. And as usual, you're going to get bitches. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, that's possible. And, like a retarded man is going to say something like, yeah, it's possible. Or if you're not attracted to her, yes, that's possible. I don't give a fuck if that bitch, it don't matter if that bitch look like a fucking pit bull. Dudes always find something they like about a bitch. Unless the only time they don't is if that bitch just look too raggedy to where that shit don't even matter. And he's still gonna be using her for something too, but usually it's gonna be something far less sinister than how a woman would do it. The women are quick to say yes. Because how many women do you hear saying, I don't have any female friends? And I hate to admit it, but you hear that from women that you don't want to hear that shit from too. That's a fact. And it is what it is. And that's not going to change my opinion on what I feel about that answer. Or what I think about that answer. It ain't what I feel. Men are tools to these hoes. We know that shit. That's why they like male friends. They know they can get more out the man than they can with a bitch. A bitch don't play that shit. That's why they fight each other and argue so much, because there is no control. When it's two female friends, there's a power struggle. So they feel more comfortable being friends with the dude because the dude is submissive to the hoe in many cases. Let me read y'all one of these comments that also proves my point that a man and a woman can't be friends without any motives. Okay. Let me see. First, let me read y'all a stupid answer right quick. It depends on what you're looking for, and if you will cross the line from friend to love. That's a bitch answer, but that's not the one I wanted y'all to really see. Let's see that woman's answer. I think she just deleted that shit. I know she did. Okay. If they're not my type, it's possible. Otherwise, I'll be working an angle, laughing my ass off. No shit, Sherlock. Because you got to really think, and this is one of the things I really, notice when the contrast between men and women. A man will use a woman for one thing, but a woman can always find 1,000 ways to use a man. And not only 1,000 ways to use a man, she can get 1,000 uses out of that nigga too. So, you just got to really think about that principle. You have to think about that principle. And men, like I said, is most likely naive enough to actually believe that you can actually be a bitch's friend with no motives for real. Like, them niggas be honest about this shit. Because men are raised to lose, men are raised to lose. Like I said, we don't get the best advice when it comes to dealing with the world, let alone a bitch. And you already know how people pretty much hammer it into your mind that hoes are angels. So that's another way that's working against niggas. One has to also think about their own life. How many times have you felt yourself wanting a bitch? Oftentimes you want a bitch that you are naive enough to say, oh, that's my friend. So when dudes say shit like that, them niggas believe it. Now, when a woman say some shit like that, they never believe it. They never believe that shit since 5. When women were 5 years old, they did not believe that shit. They never did. Women have always had the upper hand in these social interactions. Always. Always. Matter of fact, let me tell y'all about what happened to me the other day, man. This is proof right here. You nigga, I'm not even finna lie to you. I tried to fuck the pizza lady, bro. I'm dead ass. Nigga, this bitch right here, she was a light-skinned black chick, bro. And you know how I go in on these black bitches. It is what it is. I'm like, damn, this bitch here bad. And it wasn't because she was light skinned, because, look at me, I'm not really all that light myself, so I'm not really impressed by that shit. So I'm like, damn, this shit got a back. Niggas finna be, I'm like RoboCop. You know, I'm pointing out all the flaws and weaknesses, but it added up to be right. So I would get that bitch like a 7.5 or something. She had a fat ass, and depending on your level of horniness, you can go up an extra point. And I'm like, okay. And what made me try to fuck this lady is because of how the interaction started. You know, now stay with me. This really is relevant to the man and female friends things. Okay, just stay with me. So she knocks on the door, and I have to help her give me the pizza. That's already a mating call. Like the mating call is help. She was like, can you help me get this out? It's so hot. So that's already like a mental boner right there. I'm like, okay. And the pizza was not that damn hot, to tell you the truth. So I'm like, she wants some type of interaction or something. So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. She playing mind games, but I ain't got shit to do. Help her get the pizza out. And then, she started talking to me, I'm like, damn, And she, pretty much revealed that she had a boyfriend, but I don't give a fuck about no boyfriend. This bitch is talking to me like that, so that don't mean shit. I think that they do that just to shit test you to see if you bold enough to try to get the pussy. So continuing on, we talked about some crazy stuff, and then she was giving me insight about some stuff too, about certain jobs or whatever. And we just had nice little conversations. We just started talking about deep stuff, like Israelite stuff and all that. And she was like, yeah, I'm about to clock out. I'm just, I'm killing time. And she, now what struck me was because she was somebody that wasn't really somebody that was happy with her job. I like to hear people complain about stuff. That's me. I don't like to hear people, oh, let's make the best of everything. Not on that level. Now, you're supposed to be like that mentally, but you're not supposed to just pretend like you like your job and shit like that. So she was talking shit like how I would talk shit about my job. So, I'm like, damn. So she is in a relationship, which is why she was so pleasant to deal with, and that's what I knew it. But I'm like, so this bitch here is talking to me for this long, and I'm counting. I swear that was like a 15-minute convo, nigga. And then, like I said, we exchanging information about stuff. And then I'm like, so if you're trying to kill time, you can come in and have a slice of pizza, and we can watch what we talked about on YouTube. So what happened was, she was like, well, I have to check back in, you got to let them know. Then, I'm going to see how it is. And if everything is going slow, then I'm just going to come back and knock on the door. And, she was giving me that look, that look that bitches give you when they have no intentions of keeping their word. Like, it was a straight face, but you can catch that little shit. You can see it. It's like, I can't do it, but yeah, I'm gonna do it, something like that. And I'm like, this bitch ain't gonna do shit. And I guess she was waiting for me to ask for her phone number, but I figured, why ask for the phone number when it's just going to be a curve anyway? You know what I mean? Because the truth is, with as much time as we spent talking, she could have took the extra 5 minutes to get this dick across her ass. You know what I'm saying? So back to the man and female friends thing. Can they do it without a motive? That's some bullshit, because we was chatting up on a friendly level. But the reality was she was chatting up to waste my time. You see that shit? She was chatting it up to waste my time. And like I said, if you got a nigga, you can find ways to waste your time that don't involve talking to other dudes, which makes me believe that she has fucked other niggas, but she probably just ain't gonna fuck at work. Or she would probably fuck if she brought the pizza to a real expensive house or something. Or if the dude tipped her enough to where they fucked. And, she was basically telling me she had $100 tip at one, and I'm like, so I'm not finna get no bitch no $100 just to fuck. You know what I can buy with $100, nigga? I can save that up 4 times to get me that twerking butt deluxe from Pornhub. You know what I mean? That twerking butt from Pornhub that twerks with cyber skin that warms up to 98 degrees, 98.9, however hot it is inside the hole's pussy, you know, that I could go in unprotected with anytime I feel like it. You know what I mean? So that's a big, I'm not gonna do that shit for no tip. Fuck them. So she basically wasted my time. And, she was the one that was friendly. I was just wanted my pizza. I was just gonna take my pizza and bounce. But she did all that little slick shit. If it was just a regular interaction, here's the pizza, son, and that would have been it. But she was the one talking, pretending to be friendly to waste the nigga's time, and that's essentially what females do to these so-called male friends that they haven't had sex with. Now, there's two types of so-called friends you can be with a bitch. Now, if the type of friend we want to be with these hoes is a cut buddy. That's the only type of friend you want to be. And a dude that has fucked a bitch would only still call her a friend to make her feel comfortable with being a hoe. You know what I mean? To make her feel comfortable with being a hoe. And she would call him a friend if she haven't had sex to make him comfortable with being an idiotic simp. That's really the dynamics, I mean, it's like that chick said, well, if I'm not attracted, then I'll work an angle. But the truth is, if a woman is your friend, she is attracted to you on some level. So what she said was some bullshit. Like I said, women have 1,000 ways to use a man, and they have 1,000 uses to get out of a man. While a man's dumbass only has one use for these hoes. I just want to fuck. And it's only some men that's smart enough to waste the bitch's time. Maybe that nigga's lonely. I got too many cut buddies. Maybe I need a chick to talk to, which I still think is not realistic. You know what I mean? The only thing I can say is a nigga's using a bitch only if he lonely or something. I just need to be around a girl. And that's probably the closest you can get to that type of shit is that part right there. But, back on the pizza bitch. She wasted my time. She wanted to talk. Like I said, we spent like damn near 20 minutes talking. Do you know how many rounds that could have been? Do you know how many rounds? Like, we could have just took the pizza and just, wrestled for a little bit. I'm telling you. Because you got control over how quick you can nut. If you're just trying to make the best out of a situation, you can get 2 in real quick. You can do that shit real quick, and even 3 if you was really trying. So once I tried to close that deal, I was like, come in and watch YouTube with me. Then she noticed she had to get ghost. She only mentioned her boyfriend once. Only mentioned him once. And she, like I said, she didn't care enough about that motherfucker to just get her pizza and leave. So she's throwing out the pussy. Like how women that claims to be your friend is throwing out the pussy to random niggas. And here's another thing about how stupid the concept of a man and woman being in a friendship is. Like I said, think about back when you were younger, and even now for some of us, you always find yourself wanting, damn, she cool. I wish I had a girlfriend like her. And even if you say like her, that's still wanting her. That's wanting her still. And one has to think, that a bitch that you call your friend has one night stands with people from the club. One night stands. Now, she wants some dick. She got that itch that needs to be scratched. But instead of going to her so-called friend, especially the ones they call best friends, she could at least throw that nigga a bone, but she throwing another nigga a bone that didn't even have nothing to do with it. A nigga that didn't really spend any investment in him. While you investing your soul into this bitch, it might not seem like it, but women are drainers. They're emotional parasites. They're mental parasites. These hoes are just parasitic. You're being drained as long as you're around the hoe. So if you're around her and you're not draining your balls into her vagina, you're being drained parasitically. That's the way they supposed to do. Like hoes do the opposite of what they supposed to do. So she doing you wrong by giving a nigga a one night stand when she could have just been fucking her so-called friend. And then they women like to give out that excuse when they try to pretend like they ain't a hoe. Well, I can never be comfortable with a man touching me like that. I'm just not comfortable. That little excuse they want to have about being comfortable when they suck all types of dick behind your back and shit. You being played. You just being, and I'm telling you, a good female friend will not mind emptying your nutsack. She'll say, okay, you about to go out there, wait. And then she'll do a couple of gobbles on you. And then just say, go get him, tiger. You know what I'm saying? Because to be in the dating world in the first place, like the video I made about dating like the desert, you got to go into the desert equipped with some water. Having holes is water. And you going in there with your nutsaps empty, you get better results. You pick better women. So she ain't helping you do that. So the bitch ain't no good friend on any level. Men and women cannot be friends without any motives. And the woman stay having the ulterior motives. They stay with them. And this is the Negro Ninja bringing you your Negro message for today. Negro out.